show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And here we go.
Thank you, Roger.
Big Raj. What's up, Joseph?
How are you, sir? Happy Friday.
Oh, dude. I love it when you first get on and within a minute of getting on, your internet takes a shit. I love it. It's great fun.
Yeah, that's just live potting for you, you know? You just got to go with the flow, you know? The ebbs and flows, as they call it.
Yeah,
But-
so just know, folks, that if my internet craps out again, I will be back and it'll be the Joe Show for a little while.
Hopefully, for none of you, he doesn't go out.
Yeah,
but
hopefully he doesn't go anywhere.
I do have a new shirt that I ordered.
Oh yeah, whip it out. Lifted Research.
Yes, because that's what we are. We are.
Is that a Lavender Panther?
It is a cougar, a panther. Yeah.
Not a Lavender Panther though.
What's a Lavender Panther?
It's kind of like a Black Panther, only gay. Like, what was that guy's name from New Orleans? He was the head of the Lavender Panthers. He was that.
Oh, was it one of Ferry's friends?
Yeah, one of Ferry's buddies. The Reverend somebody.
Yeah, I can't place it, but I do know what you're talking about now. That is even funnier. But you won't be able to see it as I'm sitting down. But yeah, I am definitely lifted tonight, and not in the way I would hope. I am on a cocktail of antibiotics, Tylenol, coffee, and Zins, and e-cigs. Nicotine.
Jesus. Whatever gets you here, Joe, I guess.
Yeah, my temperature was 100 even earlier today.
Well, keep fucking around and you're going to find out, sir.
Yeah, well, you know, the show must go on. So let's welcome our favorite people in. Let's see who was
here.
Let's see who was first. Dave Sparks seemed to be first.
Dave.
5 hours ago. Gold medal to Dave.
San Diego's finest.
South to West.
What's up, ST-Dub?
Gets the silver, and Trey is got the bronze.
POPPA. No info for the DEA.
Definitely not.
I love it.
And yo.
What's up, Trey? Oh, shit. Who got it, Joe?
10 memberships.
God damn.
Thank you. They, double B.
Let's see who got blessed.
Collifin, Dog, Star City, Francis Fitzgerald, 24. Corey Canada. Oh man.
Let's hope that that's not who that is, but
not an alias for other people in Canada. But welcome, Corey. Leia Wolf
or Lisa.
Lisa, yeah, maybe. La Victoria, 1960.
La Victoire.
La Victoire. There you go. Did you take French in high school?
Oui. Je suis.
South to West, Cammy, Norman Corner, Dean Walker, and then, in addition,
what? Woo woo! Christmas comes early. Thanks for a great year, all. Blessings to all, and peace be with you all. Brandon, bless you, sir.
You are the man.
Everything you do for us, and it's been a hell of a year, and you've stuck with us, and we're glad to have you and everybody else here on board for the ride.
Yes, we have developed quite a fam, as they call it these days.
That's great.
And we have a lot of fun on Wednesday, and we had a lot of fun this past Wednesday too.
Oh, it was a banger Wednesday, boy.
So if you want more of the Triple B and the JOEB, become a covert operator or a spook for once a month. But Zendar is here.
Zendar.
How are you? Sally, of course, staying up late from across the pond. I'm going to make a blinding pot of tea and a massive bowl of apple crumble and custard and cozy up with a kitty.
Here, let me translate for everybody out there. This is going to be a new show feature. I'm going to translate Sally's comment every week from whatever she says. Okay. She says, evening from Ireland or Mexico.
No, there's a 3-leaf clover. So it's,
joking.
Yeah. I know.
Evening from Ireland.
They do look similar.
Hot pot of tea and a massive plate of apple pie and ice cream, and cozy up with my kitty cats for the show. Hope all are well.
Well, thank you, Sally.
Yes.
We hope they are shaved. Sorry, we go off the rails early here. Mr. Jack Taylor, how are you, sir?
Yeah, Bob ain't picky. No. I come from a different era, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. It reminds me of that scene from this is gonna get bad, from Wolf of Wall Street. Have you seen that? I'm sure you have.
Many moons ago, yeah.
Yeah, when he talks to his dad, he goes, "Oh, they're all shaved these days." He goes, "Wow, well, I kind of like the bush." Anyways, that's as inappropriate as we'll get for now, but that's a funny scene there from that movie. Howdy, friends, Slacker Dan, or
up? Internet slacker,
internet,
possibly Slacker Dan. We don't know.
Yeah,
there may be two slackers out there. There might be one.
Paula is here. How are you?
Hello, ma'am? Paula.
How are you?
Bagels, old Paula. I like me a bagel.
Mr. James. Yeah, I do too. That's a great start to the day. Mr. James Smith. How are you, sir? Hey, I'm smart, not dumb like everyone says I can't handle things. Well, like Forrest Gump says, stupid is as a stupid does. Right?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get. And yes, Roger is here. Here we effing go. Yes, right, sir. With your new song, Mr. Derek Ward. How's everyone doing tonight? We are good, sir.
What's up, D-Dub?
A little under the weather, but
I feel great.
You feel great. That's good. Trey, we already mentioned him, I believe.
Trey, he's worthy of mention.
Yep. Yeah.
He was involved in my scafoozery of the week.
Oh yeah, which we're going to get to
Into
soon. Hello to everyone. Chabird.
That's Jolene to you.
Jolene, yes, you remember all the names. I remember that from last show. Yes,
I'm a good teacher.
Hey, and we have a newbie here, Dog Star City. Looking forward to the show. Well, welcome, sir.
Welcome, Keanu Reeves.
That went over my head. Can you explain?
Keanu Reeves is in a band named Dog Star.
Oh, okay. Mr. Tony Holman, what up, gang? What up, fam? How are you? Tony was with us on Wednesday, and
he can tell you it was a hell of a show.
Yeah, and yes, we are going to be talking about the Phoebes, and a very notable Phoebe. But is he the villain?
A couple notable Phoebes,
right? Is he the villain that we thought he all was, or was he the scapegoat, as we touched upon on our book review? Which there is some method to our madness in terms of sometimes book reviews and topics. Scott Edwards, am very sick. We'll try to listen in. Well, join the club, sir.
Put the drink down. Put the computer away. Go get in bed. Get your phone out.
No, he's next to his fireplace, Rob.
I know. I'm telling him to go lay down and get some rest.
Okay, but next to the fire. Next to the fire. Gotta stay warm.
You don't want to accidentally catch on fire, like an ember come out and burn him up or something?
No, I feel like he's an experienced fire maker.
Jesus.
Tiny Dancer, one is ready. You did not get the gold, silver, or bronze tonight.
Nice of you to join us this evening, Tiny.
But we love you. Hope all is well. Hope you are feeling better. Let's see. Is there anyone? Paul Anici, of course. Yes. What up, buddy? How are you?
Paul.
Ashley Wood. Morning vapors. Just for that comment.
Hey, go put another shrimp on the Barbie down there, Ashley. Why don't you?
Yes, all of our income.
You breakfast eater at dinner time.
The little bit of our income we get from YouTube goes to vapes for sure. Let's see. Is there anyone else I have missed? Anthony Thrip, how are you, sir? Shaw was a cougar.
There is a good Australian. Yes. Right there. He's a carpet selling mother effer. Man, we're off and running tonight, boy. Krista Marie is here from Reality with Krista Marie. What's up, Chickie? Thanks for showing up, hanging out with us. You lick a deluga. Are you back?
I think so.
Now you're back. You lick a deluga.
Yes. I tried to pronounce it as I went away, and
I like the way I say that. I'm probably saying it totally fucking wrong, but you lick a deluga is how I'm saying it. Yes.
But thank you everyone for joining us. And Rob, I believe you have
Jack,
a candidate.
Did you say Jack was here?
Yeah, I did. Jack Taylor is here. Yes.
Oh, Dog Star City is also Australian. What's up?
Oh,
we are full of Australians tonight. We love it.
I like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wrapped that all out, and you are adding to the rhyme.
Yeah, and hey, Krista, I popped into her chat the other day on her live stream, just because I saw she was on live and got into some funny discussions. But she is a sweetheart, and thank you for joining us, Krista. And grunge.
Yeah, go ahead. I love grunge 90s music. I'm a big Stone Temple Pilots fan and Alice in Chains fan.
Is Tyler Robertson the modern day Lee Harvey Oswald?
Or Tyler Robinson.
What did I say?
Robertson.
Oh, Robinson. Yes. I'm not sure. Dude was literally on the roof, and there is a lot of video footage to corroborate that. I don't know. I'm going to wait for the trial, but texts are definitely very weird, but damning if they are real. With text to the furry, his boyfriend. I think that's what he goes by.
There's lots of stuff to unpack with that thing. And I'm not
but
fully unconvinced his little transgender boyfriend wasn't involved as well, but we'll see how it takes out.
Right. I think Occam's razor is he was kind of convinced to do it, maybe to impress his boyfriend. I don't think Egyptian planes with Mossad, with French intelligence and the French Foreign Legion and everything that Candace Owens is saying has any. I think she's lost it.
It will unfold in time.
Yes, if we get a trial, but it's a death penalty trial, so he might plead like Brian Kohlberger did, the Idaho.
Yeah, or they'll have a guy in a khaki suit escorting him out.
That's Luigi Mangione, right? Who looks exactly
the old Lee Harvey Oswald, Luigi Mangione treatment.
Yeah. But who knows, man? Like, who knows what is real and fake these days? Like, it's so hard to tell, and like, who knows who to trust, what documents to trust? Like, it's crazy. So, after that tangent, go, sir.
All right, pontificate on your own damn time. We have a Scafuza of the week, Joe.
Is it me?
It's always you.
But you said I don't count.
But you don't count.
Okay.
So we have to find people that do count. And I found one.
Okay.
Trey knows exactly where I'm going with this one.
And we had a different one on Wednesday, by the way. But
so say hello to Simon Bedford James, our Scafuza of the week, Joe.
Bro, when you have 3 names, you're almost certainly a serial killer.
So here is what. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yes, here's what Simon had to say. 25 minutes into this, these two are insufferable and their guest is dull. So Trey hopped in the chat to defend. Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man, from the dude, right? So then he says, nah, they are slow and boring. Reading a book after 20 minutes of gossip about the Lancer? I take it they don't like America's untold stories. So far, that's all I got. And a bunch of nothing suggesting that someone not named Oswald was in Louisiana on April 8th. Riveting. All right. Hold on. Was not in Louisiana, spelled wrong, on April 8th. Riveting. And
yes.
not like we're engagingly riveting, but like Rosie the Riveter riveting, he spelled wrong. But okay. You don't have to be a Scafuza to know how to spell.
No. Or
so. And Trey jumps in again and says, hey, man, this unsufferable duo is responsible for presenting more independent research in a handful of episodes than any other podcast or assassination conference going right now. Well said, Trey. To which Simon says, they don't seem to have the subscribers to back up your claim. And the fact that they present in such a dull, pedantic way is probably a lot of the reason they are very, very much fringe. The numbers don't lie, dude. And I hate the Eagles. Well, who gives a fuck if you hate the Eagles?
The football team?
Apparently. Or the band. Take your pick.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Well, I will agree that we are fringe in the fact that we are one of the few who actually go through documents and don't have our minds made up until we go back and forth and discuss and debate. But I think our numbers are pretty good. If we talked about James Files all the time, our numbers would probably be better. Or
sure, if our show was named something catchy and clever like Solving JFK, we'd have a lot more subscribers. Unfortunately, Simon doesn't know that this has actually been the longest running JFK related podcast ever. It's going to be 12 years old this coming year. We've been doing it for 12 freaking years.
You have been.
Well, yeah, but technically you're part of this now. So
technically,
you've always been there in spirit, Joe. And we didn't get our numbers by talking about something else first. It was a long grind. We didn't buy viewers or subscribers or likes or anything like that. It's been a long, long, long grind.
Yep. And we've doubled our subscriber base in the past year, by the way. And it's a grind. We do it. We do it every week, and we go through documents. We are document researchers.
Yeah, we are not just only reading books.
Yeah, and we're not listening to claims like America's Untold Stories, Frank Sturgis killed Giancana and Roselli, blah, 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 blah.
We hear telling stories, like just rehashing the basics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, that is definitely worthy of...
Here's why he's our Kafuza. Not only for what he says, he's also Canadian, so he's automatically going to frown upon us, Joe. And apparently Simon loves Hallmark Christmas movies, Joe. He just reviewed 3 days ago last night's Christmas movie, Snowman's. Imagine an unholy alliance between the bishop's wife and last year's hot Frosty and a dumpster fire of bad acting. The movie starts with two kids, Snow Girl and Friend Zone, building a snowman. It's her dream boyfriend she calls Cole. The two characters work well as their acting is decent. Cue to a montage of the two hanging out, growing older, but still building snowmen every year. Cut to the present day. Snow Girl lives with her widower father in a huge house he is signing over to her, but he still hangs out with Friend Zone and works at a St. Paul online magazine with two co-workers, affecting the worst Fargo accents you've ever heard, because that's funny. And I'm not going to read the rest of it, but you get the fucking point. Okay?
Yeah.
Simon, fuck you. Keep watching your little Hallmark movies and go F yourself. This comes from posting an episode in a Facebook group. This is the kind of comments we get on it. This is why I don't do this shit anymore. This is, again, probably affects our numbers because I don't post the show anywhere. But that's why. My patience for dumbasses and horses' assery and scafoozery is not what it used to be, folks.
Yeah.
When Joe says, "Hey, we should probably post this in all the Facebook group," I look at Joe and I say, "Shut up. Shut your damn mouth. We're not doing that." Why? Why not? We need to get this far and wide. No, we don't. If they want to listen, Joe, they will find us.
Well, yes, but the point is, when you go out of your way to troll,
Yeah.
When you have done probably no research ever yourself,
too busy watching Christmas romance movies on Hallmark.
and you have to realize that we can troll 100 times better than you can with thousands more of the audience. So
Yeah, Trey represented. So thank you, Trey.
yeah, thank you, Trey. You're the man.
And one more thing before we get started here, since we're going to be talking about James Hosty. I wanted to share a little bit of a story from one of our listeners. In fact, one of our most beloved listeners, the guy that does the music for this very show, Mr. Roger Maynard. Roger had the privilege of growing up down the street from James Hosty when he was a young, teenage, angsty boy.
Wow.
Who would grow up to, be a guitar god and virtuoso and long-haired, metal-loving dude, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't think James Hosty liked them kind of teenage kids, right? Well, Roger fucked up one day while he was out playing and riding his bike with his buddies. He set his bike down in front of James Hosty's house, and his handlebars, when you set your bike down, and your handlebars went right in the dirt.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like if your handlebar had one of them grips, then the end of it was all wore off and shit, and it was hollow, and you drop your bike and it would go in the dirt and the grass.
Yeah.
Boy, he did that one day, and James Hosty come out there and lit his ass up, boy. God damn it, get your fucking bike off my lawn. And
oof.
But his old man used to go fishing with Hosty every once in a while. And so he's got some cool stories. And, of course, he didn't know then what he knows now. So that would have been cool. But that's just a little bit from growing up in Kansas City, right down the street from James Hosty.
Right.
So pretty cool story.
That is really cool. I remember him telling me that now that you repeat it. And of course, as we talked about in the book review, he was reassigned to Kansas City, and I believe he lived out the rest of his days there as well.
He did. And we appreciate the support, Turin.
Hey, Turin, how are you, sir?
We do occasionally in certain groups, but there's some groups that are just insufferable bastards.
It's just you just can't. You're always going to get dumb comments.
Yeah. Oh, Sally, we don't let them get us down.
No.
Kafuzas of the week. Thank you,
Thank
Sooner.
you. Thank you, sir. Sooner, Scooter. Man, I can't tell who it is.
Scooter.
No, I know. I meant male or female. We don't want to misgender anyone around here.
Dude was an angry leprechaun, he says.
Well, that's
very short.
There's so many keyboard warriors out there that don't do shit, that just comment. And guess what? Your opinion means ugats, which is Italian for nothing to us.
Or zilch. Zip. Nada. Yeah. All right, Joe, let's kick it.
All right.
Let's take a look at, I think you got us a little video or something here that before to kind of set the table. Yeah,
I figured this would be a perfect video to set the table, actually. And
sweet.
And I figured
there's no background music or no skafoozery in here, is there?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
This is just this is from who is it? Shit. I want to give the guy the credit. Dennis Morissette. Who has a lot of great
Canadian I can tolerate.
Yeah, who has a great amount of videos on his website, JFK related. So definitely
nutter.
He is, but hey, he has good videos. So
nice guy. Yeah.
I've never had the pleasure, but all right, here we go.
Not in a David Ferry way. A legit nice guy.
Hold on. I think I just screwed it up.
I'm sure you did. What is going on here? All right, let's pull this down while Joe tries to figure it the hell out.
Could you not hear it?
I don't see it or hear it.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Your window is offline.
Yeah.
Let me just get it out of here altogether and try from scratch.
Okay. Take 2.
And go. And go.
And let me make sure it's up there. There we go. Oh no! I just fucking exited out of it. It's okay. I have it saved. Don't worry. It's what happens when you have a million tabs open at once.
Or you're on a million tabs.
Oh, that's not it.
She got stabbed in the kidney by an ice skate.
Yeah. All right. Let me bring it up. And here we finally go. So this is the audio of the secretary who allegedly received the Hosty note. And this video is going to contain a little bit of her testimony, a little bit of what Hosty says, and what some of Gordon Shanklin says. And they don't line up.
Imagine that.
Nanny Lee Fenner remembers receiving the note.
Mr. Oswald got off the elevator, and from my desk I could see him clearly because my desk was right in the hallway. And he came to my desk. He said, "Is S.A. Hosty, please?" And he had a wild look in his eye, and he was awfully fidgety. And he had a 3x5 envelope in his hand. It was not sealed. And in it was a piece of paper, and it was folded where the bottom portion of the letter was visible. And the whole time that he was standing there waiting for me to see if S.A. Hosty was in, he kept pulling this letter in and out of this envelope. And when I informed him that S.A. Hosty was not in the office, he threw it like that on my desk, and he said, "Well, give this to him," and turned and walked back toward the elevator. Well, as the bottom portion of that letter was visible, I could not help but read the last 2 lines. And the last 2 lines stated, "I'll either blow up the Dallas Police Department and the F.B.I. office." I considered it a threat. So I then took the letter in my hand to see what was above that. And I don't remember the exact words, but it was something about speaking to his wife. That was what he was going to do if they didn't stop.
Okay, so Rob, before I continue, why would he want to blow up the DPD if the FBI was harassing him and Hosty and his wife?
That's a good question, because at that time he was off the Dallas Police Department's radar, allegedly.
Mm-hmm. And who the hell goes into an FBI office and hands in a letter saying that? Now we are going to hear what Hosty says about the contents of the letter, and I find that much more plausible than this FBI secretary.
Yeah, because legitimately, if they had a letter from Lee Harvey Oswald saying he was going to blow up the FBI headquarters, they would have used that
Yeah,
to their advantage.
Commission Exhibit number 1.
Right.
Right.
A guy that says this could surely shoot the president.
Right.
Type of thing, you know?
So let's keep that in mind here as we try to critically think and do thought exercises on this.
A polite note, asking nicely doesn't exactly have the same effect, though.
Right.
Yeah.
To the best of my recollection, it said, if you want to talk to me, come talk to me. Don't bother my wife. I want to know when you interview my wife. Don't interview her without my permission. And then it said, if you don't cease talking to her, I will be forced to take action against the FBI.
Did he indicate what kind of action it would be?
Well, sir, I know that he was a member of the American Civil Liberties Union, and I just assumed he meant legal action. We'd had
He didn't say anything about he'd blow up the office?
No, sir, I would have remembered that.
That's what I think. I would take legal action. That's what I think he meant to infer. If the note was even real. I mean, I'm sure it was real, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Sunday, November 24th, it was at least 2 hours after the announced death of Lee Oswald. It could have been 3 or 4 hours afterwards. It was sometime that afternoon of November 24th. Mr. Howe told me that Mr. Shanklin wanted to see me and Mr. Howe in his office.
What transpired it then?
Mr. Shanklin reached down into the lower right-hand drawer of his desk. It's a large double drawer in which he has numerous manila folders where they keep various notes. There's a folder for each agent, and they keep various notations and routing slips, error forms, and things like that in these folders. He reached down and took out the memorandum and the note in question, and he handed it to me, and he said, in effect, Oswald's dead now. There can be no trial. Here, get rid of this. I then proceeded to tear it up. In his presence, he said, no, get it out of here. I don't even want it in this office. Get rid of it. I then took it out and destroyed it.
And how did you destroy it?
I took it into the washroom and flushed it down the drain.
Did you testify before the Warren Commission?
I did.
Did you volunteer or give any information about the note or its destruction?
I did not.
Why not?
I wasn't asked.
Did you give any information or volunteer any information with respect to your instructions regarding Commission Exhibit 103?
No, sir.
Why not?
I wasn't asked.
And did you think about volunteering the information?
No, sir.
Why not?
I was instructed when I went up there that I was to only answer the questions that were set to me, and I was not to expand on anything and not to elaborate, to only answer the questions that were put to me.
And who gave?
Because J. Edgar Hoover would bury this guy in a place worse than Kansas City if he started answering questions that he wasn't asked.
Well, that, and also, the Warren Commission lawyers who were asking these questions,
right,
had a specific narrative.
Yes.
And again, this seems to be a really common thread with anybody who was questioned by the Warren Commission, that you simply answered their questions that they asked and nothing more. They were cut off if they started to go off on a tangent or elaborate.
Right.
Or they were taken off the record if they were starting to do something like that as well. Or that part of what they said just didn't end up in the final transcripts.
Right. And you got to keep in mind, this isn't a trial, right? So there's no cross-examination. Say Mark, just for argument's sake, say Mark Lane ended up defending Lee Harvey Oswald. There would have been a cross-examination of Hosty and a bunch of other people.
Right.
There was no such thing in the Warren Commission. The lawyers knew exactly what to ask. When things veered off, they changed the subject. We've gone through the pattern hundreds of times here on the show.
Yep.
Give you those instructions?
Given to me by at least 2 officials in Dallas and at least one in FBI headquarters. They were given to me by Mr. Shanklin, Mr. Gimberling, who was a supervisor who succeeded Mr. Howe, and also by former Assistant Director Alan Belmont.
Belmont is also a name you see a lot on these FBI reports with Tolson, with Hoover, right?
Oh, yeah.
Almost always CC'd.
He was J. Edgar Hoover's shiny, sharp dagger, if you will.
His other one? He had multiple? Other than Tolson, I mean?
I'm not talking about anything sexual, Joe. I'm talking about
okay.
In a malicious way.
I see. Sorry.
Not a euphemism for J. Edgar's penis. No.
I got to get my mind out of the gutter.
Yes, God bless.
So now we're going to hear Gordon Shanklin's testimony. Allegedly.
Got to give you a minute to read the call.
Let's hear from Gordon Shanklin.
I have no recollection of hearing of Oswald's visit to the Dallas office or of the note. I have no recollection of ever seeing the note. In short, I do not remember discussing the note or Oswald's visit with anyone at any time prior to last July. Now, a bomb threat to a law enforcement office is the equivalent of what I'd say of a red flag in front of a bull. I would never be indifferent to such threats against the lives of my associates or myself. After many hours of reflection and searching my memory, I've concluded that had the note contained threats of violence, and had I known of it at the time, I would remember it. Finally, understand that in one version of the story, I'm supposed to have ordered the destruction of the note. I can state here and now that I never gave any such order. I would never have and certainly did not order the destruction of the note.
The committee tries to resolve this central question. Counsel to James Hosty.
You're aware of the fact that Mr. Shanklin denies any knowledge of the note prior to July of this year?
Yes, sir, I've seen that.
And he is so stated under oath to this committee as recently as yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And you are under oath.
Yes, sir, I understand that.
So, do you wish to change your testimony in any way or upon reflection?
No, sir, absolutely not.
There remains a direct contradiction, and no one, not even Secretary Fenner, can clear it up. And Shanklin stands firm.
Prior to November 22nd, 1963, did you have any contact with or knowledge of Lee Harvey Oswald?
I never heard of him before.
Prior to November 22nd, 1963, were you aware, personally aware, that the FBI had a file on Lee Harvey Oswald and that one of your agents was handling an investigation?
No, sir, I did not.
In all candor, sir, at lunchtime I looked up the perjury statutes and what our witnesses required to say. And why are you so equivocal?
Well, I don't think I am. I mean, I'm trying to tell you the truth, and I don't think it... I tried to point out in this thing, now, if the note said anything about it had a threat, I don't think I would have ever forgotten it. You see what I'm talking about? But now, if Mr. Hosty come running in there with innumerable other things, or if Mr. Howe came in, and they said, we've got a note here from Oswald that says, don't go bothering my wife, but talk to me or I'll go through proper channels. I don't know that I would remember that. I would have said handle it, which in my opinion would have been to include it in a report, and that would have been it.
Well, we have to believe you, sir, or we have to believe 4 others who contradict you. And we can't have it both ways. The Department of Justice is not going to resolve it. They're not going to prosecute at all. So it's left up to Congress. We represent the American people here. We're not going to sit back and allow totally, absolutely contradictory statements to go unchallenged. It's our duty not to do that.
And how did the Edwards Committee pursue the issue? Author George O'Toole.
Unfortunately, the Edwards Committee is not pursuing this matter, even though it clearly has a case of someone having perjured himself before the subcommittee in his sworn testimony. And that, again, is another disappointment that we've suffered recently.
The Edwards Committee raised more questions than it answered.
There's no point in us doing anything more. We don't have subpoena power, and we keep coming up against that. We know individuals who we feel were involved in this.
Oh boy, what did I miss?
Big Raj comes through.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Roger. You got that right. Fuckery abounds.
Yeah. And you even hear the congressperson calling him out. Well, there are four people who contradict your story. And he still doesn't care.
Well, it's not just about the note, though. You're telling me that Hosty's boss doesn't know anything about Lee Harvey Oswald before the 22nd of November? Bullshit.
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because as we'll find out this evening, there were communication between the New Orleans office and the Dallas office about Lee Harvey Oswald. You'll see somewhere around September 10th where Hosty is assigned. He didn't just someday decide to do his own thing in the Dallas office. You know what I mean? Somebody had to tell him what to do. So, and you know how the FBI works, Joe. You got to write reports on everything, report to your superiors so that they know exactly what the hell's going on.
Yes, sir.
So when J. Edgar calls and asks a question about something, they're not in the dark.
100%.
So to me, Shanklin is a lying liar.
Yes. There's a couple seconds left of this. I'm not going to play it because it's kind of from an author and whatever. But yeah, I mean, like Roger says, fuckery abounds. It's crazy, and you know it points to the effect that J. Edgar Hoover had on his subordinates, right?
Yeah. Why didn't George O'Toole run these voices through his PSR machine? You know, from the assassination tapes. He wrote the book, The Assassination Tapes, and he had a PSR machine, like an audio lie detector machine, Joe. And he ran a lot of the audio from people associated with this case through it, and kind of figured who was lying about things. You know, like his book, like his machine said Oswald wasn't lying when he said certain things about, like, I didn't shoot anybody or stuff like that, and determined Buell Frazier was lying about everything that came out of his mouth, things like that. So maybe the Shanklin audio would be good to run through the PSR machine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think you'd need to. It's just so obvious that this dude is lying. Maybe that's why he didn't do it.
There you go, Volta.
Oh, yeah. So before I turn it over to you, Rob, I just want to go through a little timeline of Hosty and Oswald in New Orleans and Dallas. Okay. And let's see. So from July 1262 to March 463, Hosty keeps Marina Oswald's case in inactive pending status for about 6 months. And as we talked about in the book review, I think they were a lot more concerned about Marina being a honeypot and possible spy than they were about Lee.
Yes.
March 4th, 63, Hosty determines Oswald moved from Fort Worth to Elsbeth Street in Dallas. This ends 6-month pending status of case. This starts Hosty's efforts to investigate Marina on the basis that the FBI conducts investigation of immigrants on a selective basis, and Marina was then selected. So, yes. About a week later, March 11th, 63, Hosty determines from Elsbeth Street landlady that Oswald's were evicted on the 3rd. of March 63. Postal authorities, wonder who those could be around, reveal Oswald's address is 214 Neely Street. On the 14th of March 63, Hosty verifies the Neely Street address. Hosty then checks Oswald's files and finds a letter from the New York FBI advising Oswald was on the mailing list of the New York Daily Worker. I don't know if that's spelled wrong or new something. We then go to March 25th, 63. Hosty sends a request to FBI headquarters to reopen Lee Harvey Oswald's case. Mid-May, interesting how it doesn't have a date. Hosty learns that the Oswalds had left their Neely Street address. Interesting. Might be another one of those things that supports our theory. June 63, New Orleans. Hosty receives a communication dated 4/21/63 from New Orleans FBI advising a confidential informant reports that Oswald was in contact with the Fair Play for Cuba Committee in New York, at which Oswald said he had passed out pamphlets. Fast forward to June 17th, 63. Hosty receives a communication from the New Orleans FBI advising Oswald was in New Orleans and requesting information on him. So again, things are moving a little slow, right? Because he was obviously in New Orleans, almost 2 months before then, according to the official story, maybe earlier. Fast forward, August 10th, 63, Quigley and Lee Harvey Oswald interview conducted at Oswald's request to speak to an FBI agent. Okay, so that's the day following his arrest for distributing leaflets and the whole fracas with Brunier. Interview conducted on the 10th. Then we fast forward to October 3rd, 63. Hosty receives a communication from New Orleans FBI advising that the Oswalds had left the New Orleans area. 10/25, Hosty receives communication from New Orleans FBI advising him Oswald had visited Soviet embassy in Mexico City. And last one, 10/29, October 29th, 63. Hosty receives communication from New Orleans FBI advising that Oswald's address is in Irving Street, Texas. I think there's one more. Yes. 29th, Hosty makes a pretext call to Dorothy Roberts and determines 2515 address is the residence of Ruth Pena, with whom Marina lives. So Hosty's kind of on it, right?
Her neighbor, yeah.
He's on it. He's keeping tabs on the file, which Shanklin, of course, denies. Hosty with subject Ruth Payne. Hosty interviews Ruth Payne, who admits that Marina lives with her, but not Lee. Payne informs Hosty Oswald works at Dallas Book Depository. Hosty meets Marina for the first time on November 1st, right? So that's an important date, November 1st, 63. You're talking 21 days, 3 weeks before the assassination. Lee name and phone number with Payne. 3 days later, Hosty makes a pretext call to the book depository and confirms the address, which is confusing to me because didn't they not have the right address? Sends requests to New Orleans office to make Dallas office of origin for Oswald case. So they're kind of like
Lee put Ruth's address on his depository application.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not really where he was living, but
right. 11/5/63. Hosty and William Wilson was another, I believe, FBI agent, learned from Payne that Oswald had visited family. Payne did not know where Oswald lived in Dallas. That's interesting. She did not know.
She did not.
I believe it was Beckley at that time, right?
Yep.
11/22, Hosty with book out, interview conducted after Oswald was taken into custody following the shooting of JFK. Oswald exhibits great hostility towards FBI men, especially Hosty, who Oswald says he's heard about before.
Yes. Yeah, I believe that was the only interrogation that Hosty sat in on and asked questions, because he got Oswald very upset during the interrogation, and they did not want Oswald being upset when they questioned him. So that would be the one and only interview that Hosty sat in on, because things got a little contentious, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably said, probably not best for you to be here.
Yeah.
And replaced it with other FBI agents, Phoebes.
The Phoebes. So, is that all you had there, Joe, on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I got an awkward document, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but we'll try to make some sense out of it.
Okay.
This is an FBI document, and it's I don't know if it is or it is referencing. It has to be referencing James Hosty's report of September 10th, 1963. So you remember at this date, Oswald's still living in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, unless at this time Hosty is in constant contact with the New Orleans office, but
do you have it on paper? Because I actually have a slide I could put it up.
Yeah, you can put up a slide while I got it. Yeah.
This is the same one, right? Yeah, 910. Start of it. Oh. Let me fucking edit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I got here. So it goes on to say something about the background, right? And they talk about his landlord, Mr. Jesse James Garner at Magazine Street.
Yep, it's up now.
Apparently, they went and talked to Garner, that is the FBI, on August 5th, and said that Lee Oswald and his wife have occupied the apartment since June of 63. Now, Mrs. Mary Bertucci, a secretary at the William Riley Coffee Company, advised on August 5th that Lee Harvey Oswald had been employed as a maintenance man since May 15th. Apparently, she didn't know he no longer worked there at that time, right? He had been gone since, June or July, right?
I believe July, because he was definitely not employed by the time the fracas came, or in August. So
right. And then on March 11th, 63, the apartment manager at Elsbeth advised that Lee Harvey Oswald and his wife Marina had moved from that apartment to Neely Street in Dallas. Mrs. Tobias advised that they had considerable difficulty with Mr. Oswald, who apparently drank to excess and beat his wife on numerous occasions. Now, what I think that is, Joe, is that one of them probably drank to excess, and it wasn't Lee. Okay?
Yeah.
And that they had very loud, boisterous arguments. And I don't know that there's any proof that Lee ever beat Marina or she beat him or anything like that. But, you know, when you're screaming and you're drunk and you're slamming doors and throwing shit or pounding on the walls, things can be misconstrued in a lot of ways. And back then, They probably figured that it was Oswald drinking and beating his wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And by the way, if you were living next to me, you would hear boisterous arguments on the daily.
Well, that just leads to Joe having a drinking problem and beating his girlfriend.
Or my girlfriend having one and beating me.
There you go. No, we love Erica.
Yes, we do.
And then on September 28th, 1962, okay, we're going back in time here a little bit. A Dallas confidential informant, T1, a.k.a. Harry Holmes, advised that Lee Oswald, who at that time resided on Mercedes Street in Fort Worth, was a subscriber to The Worker, an East Coast communist newspaper. And on April 21st, 63, Dallas confidential informant T2 advised that Lee Oswald of Dallas was in contact with the Fair Play for Cuba Committee in New York City, at which time he advised that he passed out pamphlets for the Fair Play for Cuba Committee. According to T2, Oswald had a placard around his neck reading "Hands off Cuba, Viva Fidel." Now, this is interesting because the only other time that we've ever heard that Oswald had a placard around his neck that said "Viva Fidel" was not in Dallas, but in New Orleans, right before the street fracas.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, this is all the way back in April 63. A Dallas confidential informant advised that Oswald had been in contact with the Fair Play for Cuba Committee and that he was passing out pamphlets for them and wearing a placard. So this had to be in Dallas in April or in New Orleans in April. But how would a Dallas informant know what the fuck is going on in New Orleans? Which lends me to believe that somebody saw Oswald doing this in Dallas, which we have absolutely no proof of. There are rumblings, but interesting. Yeah. So from the Hosty notes of the interrogation that recently came to light, thank you to Malcolm Blunt and Bart Camp for finding them and posting them online. We always had the after the interrogation typed up, cleaned up version from the Hosty interrogation. We'd always had that, but we never had the contemporaneous, as the interrogation is going on, Hosty's handwritten notes. He's asking him questions and he's writing down Oswald's answers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the notable things in here. Okay. And this all took place on November 22nd, 1963 at 3:15 p.m. So remember, Oswald was arrested and brought into the station somewhere around 2:00. So within an hour and 15 minutes of that happening, Hosty is sitting in on an interrogation. And he says, at 3:15 p.m., LHO was interviewed by Captain Fritz, Bookout, and himself, a captain. I can't read the writing.
Hold on. I'm going to put it up because I have it here somewhere. Maybe I could help. Probably not.
Oh, Captain Fritz advised him of his rights, etc. So, they sat him down and Fritz said, look, they gave him the old, they advised him of his rights, his Miranda rights. Mm-hmm. Although I don't think they were called that back then, but basically you don't have to say something if you don't want it to, right?
This is it, right?
Yeah, I'm still at the top there.
Yep.
Captain Fritz advised him of his rights, etc. Right under where it's affidavit and backwards. Yep. And then it says LHO advised he resided at 1026 North Beckley. Now, this is the earliest that we know of where Oswald admitted to staying at the rooming house at 1026 North Beckley. Because we do have conflicting reports about how quickly police and FBI showed up to that address at 1026 North Beckley and searched it. The earliest possible, again, would have been during this interrogation at 3:15 p.m. when they started it. Okay. He even told them, I stayed there under the name O.H. Lee, and that he was employed with the Texas Book Depository.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells them he was staying there under an alias. And then in the green part, he says, Oswald stated he was present for work at the Texas School Book Depository on the morning of 11/22 and at noon went to lunch. He said he went to the second floor to get a Coke to eat with lunch and returned to the first floor to eat his lunch. Then went outside to watch the presidential parade.
Yes.
He advised he resided in the Soviet Union for 3 years before returning to the U.S. Denied he was ever in Latin America other than Tijuana, Mexico. Which is interesting because he's telling them a lot of truths here so far until this line.
Right. And Tijuana is just south of San Diego, right?
He was in the Marine Corps. And he went across the border to Tijuana with some buddies and watched the donkey.
Right. I remember that. Yes. That is interesting.
Denying that he made a trip to Mexico City. Now you're sitting at a table across from two FBI agents, one of whom has been watching your every move and trying to question your wife about things. Okay, yeah. So you have to understand that maybe the FBI knows something. Also, Dumas, in August of 1963, when you got arrested in New Orleans, you asked for somebody of the FBI to come talk to you. Okay, and you told them a bunch of bullshit, but you still talked to them. So he's got to know that he's on the FBI radar, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to know he's being viewed as suspicious, as being a defector, living in Russia, bringing back a Russian wife. He's got to know that, right? But he tells them he's never been to Latin America, which includes Mexico, which supports the fact that Oswald never went to Mexico, and somebody impersonating him did. Again, if you believe everything that comes out of Oswald's mouth at this time, right, this is what he's saying.
Right.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, is, we know how much Oswald lied to the FBI in New Orleans after the fracas, right? So, you can't take everything Oswald says, as truth.
Right. He stated his wife was a Soviet citizen, and he had been advised. He had been in contact with
JC. I think it's an E.
J.E. I don't know. J. Edgar?
J. Edgar Hoover.
The chief will protect me. Who knows?
Maybe he was this other boy toy.
He stated that the only organization he belonged to was the Fair Play for Cuba Committee, which he described as an organization which favored Fidel Castro. So he's telling them a lot of truth, but either not the whole truth, maybe not nothing but the truth, but a lot of truth. Someday Joe will know how to work these fucking things.
No, it takes a minute for it to come up for me to remove it. No, I'm serious. It came up. I removed it within 1 second. No, it's true. I was waiting for it to pop up. I'm right on this one, bud.
So we just watched a little bit from the Edwards Committee. Okay, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, some subcommittee. It's kind of like the Luna Committee. No subpoena power.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of how I view
We
it.
might charge you with perjury, but we probably won't. But yeah, there were some other things in there. Again, if Hosty's doing all this stuff, and Joe shows you the timeline of dealing with Hosty, or Hosty dealing with Oswald, there's no way Hosty's not making reports of everything that he's doing and sending them up the ladder. And if Shanklin's not seeing him, well, then Shanklin's just blatantly not doing his job. He should be knowing what all of his underlings are doing, at that field office in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you think that if it wasn't just in reports that, Hosty would actually see Shanklin in the office and talk to him, or Shanklin would be like, hey, buddy, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. What are you working on? Oh, well, da, 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 da. It'd be like, hey, if you read my fucking reports, you'd know what I'm doing, asshole. But,
bro, what's the last comment you see?
The last comment that I see?
It's Rogers 26 minutes ago, and it's different on my phone.
No, I'm seeing Sally's.
Oh, something's fucked up with mine.
Because she's asking, could Hosty be going over Shanklin's head? No, Shanklin's the biggest swinging dick in the office.
Yeah. They're
specifically told to keep it from Shanklin and send it only to DC, but I doubt that because, again, at this time, Oswald was just being weird. He wasn't, a big threat.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, Joe, with your...
Yeah, no, I see him on my phone. You know what? Let me refresh really quickly as you keep going.
Okay. And there he goes. All right, let's switch gears here and talk about a little something.
And I'm back.
And he's back.
And the comments are working, so sorry about that.
All good.
Yes.
So we're going to take a look at another video here, folks, just to set a little bit of a table here for you for what we're going to be going into next. This video is quite awesome, and it's good for context. When you actually see people and you hear them talking, you can get a different mental picture of who these people were. When I sit here and say, Orest Pena said this, he ran the Havana bar. You can have a mental image of him, but to specifically gauge a person trustworthiness, I think it helps when you see them and actually hear them speak.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at a little video from a 1975 documentary called The American Assassins. And you're going to see in here Orest Pena. You're going to see in here Warren Debrueys. Yeah.
Ooh.
You're going to see in here William Walter, the dude who worked at the night desk at the New Orleans office. All within 4 minutes and 55 seconds. And there's some good shit in here, so pay attention, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
All right. You ready? Here we go.
Looking forward to it.
Warren C. Debrueys.
Warren Debrueys is an FBI agent, and you saw him with Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yes, I knew Warren C. Debrueys very well because I used to work with him.
What did you do with Warren Debrueys?
I was an informer for the FBI about the people in New Orleans.
What happened when the FBI agent, whom you said you had seen with Lee Harvey Oswald, who was also the man you were the informant for, what happened when he came to the bar before you went to the Warren Commission?
About 10 days before I went to testify at the Warren Commission, could be less than 10 days. He came and he called me from behind the bar, said he wanted to talk to me. He called me on the table, and he told me he was very, very nervous. And he told me, if you ever talk anything about me, I will get rid of you ass. Yours and those words.
Warren C. Debrueys is now the special agent in charge of the FBI office in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He talked to Bruce Hall.
Did you know Orest Pena, who is the operator of the Havana bar in New Orleans? What was your relationship with him?
Pause it.
Okay. He was an individual that I recall having contacted perhaps as many as a dozen times. I suppose during the early 1960s, prior to the assassination of President Kennedy.
Orest Pena says that he was, in a literal sense, an informer for the FBI, and he knew you well because you were his contact man with the FBI.
Look at his eyes.
And that on numerous occasions, he saw you and Lee Harvey Oswald together, and in particular, in a Greek restaurant in New Orleans in the French Quarter. What is your response to that?
My response to that is he is wrong in his statements. I have never seen Lee Harvey Oswald at any time in my life personally, nor have I talked to him by telephone knowingly.
Knowingly.
I've had absolutely no contact, no personal knowledge, first-hand contact with Lee Harvey Oswald, nor do I have any secondary contact with him.
Was Lee Harvey Oswald an informant of the FBI?
He was not my informant, and I have no information whatsoever that he had ever been an informant for the FBI.
Did you ever use the phrase, to get your ass, or threaten Orest Pena in any way in connection with his Warren Commission testimony?
Look at him look up to the right.
I certainly don't recall ever having made that a statement to Orest Pena. My recollection is that I treated him with a great deal of patience and with due respect. There would have been no reason whatsoever for me to have made such a statement.
William Walter was an FBI security code clerk in the New Orleans office of the FBI from 1961 until 1966. He told me about Oswald and the FBI.
Do you think Oswald was, by your definition and by the Bureau's definition, an informant?
Yes, I'm sure he was.
And you are certain, on the basis of what you did in the normal course of your duties, that Oswald's name was on the New Orleans FBI office security index file?
I'm positive.
I would say that's a falsehood. Had he been an informant, and had I had him as a subject of my investigation, it would have been logical that I would have been aware of that fact because of cross-references in the file and for many other reasons. And I'd say that is a falsehood.
Mr. Walters also says that Oswald's name was on the security index file. Could Oswald's name have been on the security index file, and what was the security index file?
I have no idea at this time whether his name was on any type of special index, and as relates to what you term a security index file, I'd rather not get into the discussion of administrative techniques employed within the office and respectfully decline to answer that question.
On November 1st, 1963, FBI agent James P. Hosty visited the Payne home seeking Oswald's whereabouts. Hosty's name and telephone number were found in Oswald's notebook when he was arrested after the Kennedy murder. The FBI failed to tell the Warren Commission that after Hosty's visit to Marina...
Yeah.
Wow.
How you like that?
Bro, I have a lot of reactions to that. I'll start with the first one. Orest Pena seems very credible.
Right?
To me. To the layman's eyes. Warren Debrueys seems like he's lying through his ass. He's looking up like this, and James had a good comment. Blink, blink, blink. Yeah, he was blinking quickly and looking up and to the right. Right, his right, I guess, which I think is a
And it looks like he was trying not to laugh the whole time that he's being asked these questions, like, I'm really going to say something here.
And he's like, I never talked to him knowingly. Like, why would you add knowingly in there? You know what I mean? Like those little
Well, at least we finally know how to say this motherfucker's name, Debrueys.
Debrueys.
I've been calling him Warren Debrueys for I don't know, Debrueys or Debrees. It's Debrueys.
I think we just keep with Debrueys, to be honest. It's easier. And William Walther, William Walther is so confident in his answers, immediate responses. Yes, I'm sure of it.
Does he look like a lion kook to you, William Walter? They painted that motherfucker as a bitter ex-employee that was just lying his ass off for some reason. To me, he looked 100% legit.
Yeah, he seems like a nerd that would be employed in that type of position, and he seems like someone that can't be intimidated in the way that Debrueys, or Shanklin could be.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
A shit-eating grin. That is a perfect description of Debrueys.
Wow, I've never seen that video. Thank you so much. That's cool.
I always said, it helps when you see these people talk.
And none of them.
You can read this shit all day, but you don't get a sense of how trustworthy, and you don't get that sixth sense of who's telling the truth here.
Right.
Right. Until you actually see these people talk.
Yeah. And no, they didn't look like I thought they would look. So that was surprising. But that's, I guess, always the case, right? We played
he tell me he get my ass.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, that is crazy. You're right. A video. What do they say?
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, a video is worth 1,000,000.
Yeah, exactly. So, we talked a lot Wednesday night about Orest Pena and what he's said over the years. And I'm more inclined to believe him now after seeing that video about everything that he's saying. So we read a little bit of some of the things that Orest Pena said. Now, I've come across his House Select Committee on Assassinations interview from January of 1978, Joe.
Okay.
And it starts off, the subject, who was highly emotional concerning this investigation, preceded the interview with his opinion that nothing has been or will be done concerning the persons involved in the assassinations. So before they even ask him anything, Orest Pena is saying he's very emotional about what happened, and he's very confident in the fact that nothing is ever going to be done about this. He states that he came to this country in 1946. He became a U.S. citizen in 1956, then served in the U.S. Army in the latter part of 1961 and 62. He was he wasn't in the Army at that time. He'd gotten out already in, I think, 1960. And then in the latter part of 61, early part of 62, he was recruited as a non-paid informant for the FBI in New Orleans. He states that he was called by the special agent in charge in New Orleans to assist them with the Cuban Castro sympathizers. His case agent, according to him, was Warren Debrueys, who he was to use as his contact. He further states that he was constantly visiting and being visited by at his places of business by Warren Debrueys.
Right. Well, we always use that term, yap like six barbers, right? And who better to get to hear things and to hear people talk than a bar owner, right?
Right.
They get drunk, they get loose. Yeah.
he's right beside the only DRE member, right?
Right.
In New Orleans.
Yeah.
He's very close to what we're going to talk about next. So he says in 1963, the federal building, most of the federal offices were located in the federal building, which is the customs house right across the street from his bar, which is called the Havana Bar. Now, in this customs house, he states that this building houses offices of the FBI, the CIA, ONI, INS, etc. So he is in a prime location to be called upon by various agents of our United States government from all these various agencies.
Right.
You know, he's in a pretty convenient spot right across the street from the customs house. He states that he was informed some years ago that he picked up his passport the same day as Lee Harvey Oswald, but he does not recall seeing him at that time. It doesn't really mean much. Located just east of his store was a restaurant called Pedro's Restaurant. He states that there were only 4 types of people that went to this restaurant, Joe. That would be businessmen from the area.
Right. Going out to lunch. Yeah, going out to lunch or dinner or after work drinks. Yes. Makes sense.
Government workers, prostitutes, and pimps.
Stop it.
Pipe the bimbo in red, Joe.
Oh, man.
He recalls seeing Lee Harvey Oswald there in Pedro's restaurant in the summer of 63 at least 10 to 12 times, talking to various agents.
Okay. 10
pimps.
10 to 12, not 1 or 2.
Right. 10 or 12.
That's specific and I think significant because if you were making it up, you'd say, I saw him a couple times. But 10 to 12, specific.
Right. And you got to remember, at this time, Oswald is working at Riley Coffee Company, which is also down in the middle of all this shit going on in downtown New Orleans. So it's very feasible that on Oswald's lunch breaks, the days that he didn't go next door to Adrian Alba's garage, he had to eat somewhere close by, Joe. And I'm sure he didn't never turn down a free lunch.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm sure they had pretty good tacos, burritos, Pedro's.
He further states that Lee Harvey Oswald had came to his Havana bar. He personally did not wait on him, but his bartender, Evaristo Rodriguez, waited on him, and he came to Mr. Pena and asked him how to make a lemonade. Pena told him how and told him to charge $0.25 for it. He never knew Oswald by name, only by sight, until much later, subsequent to the assassination. There were 2 others with Oswald at the time, but he does not know them, nor is he able to describe them. He states when Oswald was arrested for passing out the literature and getting into a scuffle with Carlos Bernier in front of the International Trademark Building that the FBI, pay attention, folks, pay attention, the FBI was taking photographs of the arrest from across the street. He believes that it was in some sort of a fireman's union office. And he states that at the time the fight erupted, he was on the street at that location with his bartender. The subject refused to state why he was in that vicinity at the time. He just said that he happened to be there. Now they're talking about Pena.
Yeah. With his bartender.
Right. Evaristo Rodriguez.
Right. So who the fuck is manning the bar?
Right. Or more interesting, the FBI is in the Fireman's Union building taking photographs of
right.
Oswald's arrest.
Yeah. That is interesting.
He further states that when Bernier was arrested, he went and informed Bernier's brother-in-law, one Comandante Orlando Pelez. And he, in fact, went and posted the $25 bond for Carlos Bernier and then received the money back from Orlando after he did so. He further identifies, pay attention, folks, a Japanese individual who was known to him, but not further identified, who worked for the Kasuki Company, which is presently located in the International Trade Mart building. The new one was also present there and was also photographing this whole thing going down. On the subject of David Ferry, he states that he knew Captain Ferry very well, as Ferry had actually taught him how to fly out at the old New Orleans airport.
And he calls him Captain Ferry.
He says he referred it to as the Lake Airport. He's not sure of the number of hours that Ferry gave him instruction, but he believes it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 14, which is a lot of hours to spend with David Ferry in a tightly enclosed airplane, I'm sure.
Yes.
He believes there would be a record of this somewhere.
Yeah, probably FAA records like we talked about.
Pay attention, folks. The next thing Pena says is that Ferry and Clay Shaw both came to my bar many times. They definitely knew each other because they came together a few times. Okay. Throughout the interview, Mr. Pena alluded to or inferred many pieces of information that he is in possession of. In effect, he wanted some good faith on the part of the committee before he would talk about things. For instance, on the subject of Ferry and Shaw, he states that he knows the identity of a woman who came to the bar with Ferry and that she will be willing to talk to us. However, he refused to identify her at this time. He further states that he is no longer associated with the Havana Bar other than being the landlord, as he bought the entire building 2 years ago for $65,000 with a rental income of approximately $1,300 a month. During 1963, a Mr. Johnson of Immigration used to bring Cuban refugees to his place for lodging upstairs. All right, so he's saying that customs agents from the INS used to bring Cuban refugees to him at his bar and would ask him to put them up in his bar for free. He states that they always told him that they would pay him for the services, but they never, ever have. Approximately 12 hours before David Ferry's death, which would make it 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, obviously the day of, that Ferry had come to his bar looking for 2 people in particular. One would be Sergio Arcacha Smith, and one Wilfredo Masfer, which would be Rolando Kiki Masfer's brother.
Yeah.
Known associate of Lauren Hall.
Yeah.
According to Mr. Pena, Wilfredo Masfer is an FBI CIA worker. Whatever that means. His brother is in Miami.
He definitely was.
And was working at that time in the same group as Bernier, which would be the DRE. Ferry told him it was extremely important that he had to talk to them right away. So the day David Ferry died, he goes into the Havana bar, and he's looking for these 2 guys, Sergio Arcacha Smith and Wilfredo Masfer. Why? He's saying that it is important that he had to talk to them right away. Pena stated that he did not know where they were at the time, and at that point, Carlos Bernier passed the store, and he sent Ferry out to see Bernier on the possibility that Bernier might know where they were. And that was the last time he saw David Ferry alive. He states that when he left his store, he immediately called Jim Garrison's office. This was during the time of Garrison's investigation. He was not there, but he spoke to Frank Mola, and told him about the incident with Mr. Ferry. He further states that Sergio Akasha Smith was very close to David Ferry, as well as Warren Debrueys. He further states that Warren Debrueys visited Sergio Akasha's office approximately 4 times a week when the CRC was headquarters at where, Joe?
544 camp.
Ding, ding, ding. Oof. Lee Harvey Oswald also visited the same building a few times, he says, but not too frequently, he says. Mr. Pena alludes to the possibility that the building at Camp Street had 2 or 3 entrances on the alleyway, which he felt the name was Commercial Place. I don't know what that has anything to do with anything. Sergio Akasha opened his office, or when Sergio Akasha Smith opened his office, Orest Pena actually paid for the first month's rent for the organization and even brought some chairs from his bar to the office so people had a place to sit during meetings.
For the CRC?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pena states that Guy Bannister put out literature to collect money for Cuba, which of course we know. Not clear, but apparently he is referring to the Balter building, as he states it's on Canal and Camp on the 3rd floor. He feels that Smith and Ferry, who he characterizes as an extremely brilliant individual, had handled the publicity for the CRC. Smith and Ferry. So he's saying that Ferry and Akasha Smith handled the publicity for the CRC. They were working to collect monies, he says. Of course they were. The grift. Yes. They being a collective group in New Orleans under the aegis of Sergio Akasha Smith. He says that he was not too sure where the money that was collected, according to him, but it was quite a sum, was going. And he took a trip to Miami and checked with Tony Verona.
Oh, who, by the way, was mentioned by 2 very smart researchers we had on last week.
Yeah. And he states that he was told that Tony Verona didn't know anybody named Sergio Akasha Smith, and that they did not send him to New Orleans. And in fact, they were not aware of an organization which would be a subsidiary of their unit was even operating in New Orleans at the time. According to Pena, they expressed the opinion that Smith was put there by the CIA and that the FBI probably knew about it, which kind of makes sense when you realize much later that the next head of the CRC was a guy by the name of Frank Barthez, who was a CIA and FBI informant and part of the cadre of CIA Cubans with CIA ties surrounding Oswald at the time, and who would later claim not to know who he was or ever seen him or meeting him. He relates the story of one Louis Hernandez Malí, who was the bodyguard of Tony Verona, and he was killed in Miami 2 years ago. According to him, Malí was shot with 25 bullets. Malí had once trained at Lake Pontchartrain. He states that as far as Lake Pontchartrain was concerned, that Batista men would come to New Orleans, be picked up by the CIA, and used as training camp cadre. Again, in keeping with his dangling of little bits of information which may or may not have some value to the case, he mentions one Juan Caballero, who is a male Hispanic, approximately 55 or 60 years old, who was arrested and convicted for murder in 1964 in Houston, Texas. Pay attention, folks. He believes this individual is now in a Brownsville, Texas jail. He was in New Orleans training camp at one point back in the early 60s. Pena states that Caballero's nephew closely resembles Lee Harvey Oswald. He's not sure of his name, though. But prior to his leaving New Orleans, Pena states that Warren Debrueys came to his bar and told him that he was leaving New Orleans as he was being transferred to Dallas. He then alludes to the fact that Debrueys left New Orleans the same day that Oswald left New Orleans and went to Dallas. They say this has to be verified. A few days before Pena appeared at the Warren Commission, Debrueys came to him and said, "If you say anything about me, I'll get rid of your ass." As far as Debrueys is concerned, Pena has quite a vocal hatred of the man. He states that he has an awful lot to tell and he's willing to do it under hypnosis, especially concerning Debrueys, and he volunteers to tell this under hypnosis and requested that Debrueys also be questioned under hypnosis. So he really wants Debrueys to tell the truth. He mentions the name of Smith, who was a customs agent, Joe.
Ron Smith.
Pena is saying this.
Oh.
So, a lot of motherfucking people.
Whoa.
A lot of people. According to him, who knew Oswald very well. And subsequent to the assassination, he was given the top position in Uruguay after he was transferred out of New Orleans. A Mr. Roche or Rouge.
Well, we know who that is too. Mr. Wendell, yeah.
Of the Immigration Service also knew Oswald very well and wound up after the assassination in the second top position in beautiful, sunny Puerto Rico, Joe. So if you play ball with the INS, you get stationed somewhere beautiful, apparently. Unlike Hosty, who went to, sorry, Roger, Kansas City. Mr.
Wow.
Pena was shown the photo lineup, and he identified the following people in the photo book lineup. Jim Braden as being familiar to him. Clay Shaw, knows him. Bradley, he looks familiar. William Cuthbert Brady, knows him. Carlos Bernier, knows him. Bill Dalzell, William Dalzell, knows him. And also reiterates on Dalzell saying that he speaks 8 languages and that he did have a part in the assassination. Those are true facts about William Dalzell. He did know 8 languages, very smart dude. And he alleges that he had some part in the assassination. He said they called William Dalzell, among other things, Taco Bill. Why? He says he believes Taco Bill to be a CIA FBI agent, and at one point he was in the 500 or 600 block of Decatur Street with a push cart selling tacos out of it. Taco Bill.
I would have guessed he ate at Pedro's every day. That's funny.
He also identified Lee Harvey Oswald, and he states that when he knew him, he had a thinner neck. It's a random observation. Jack Ruby, he says he's familiar, but only from the papers. And Emilio Santana, who he refers to as Caballero. Possibly Caballero's nephew that looks like Lee Harvey Oswald. Don't know. Should more need arise, Mr. Pena can be interviewed again. Now, I'm not going to go through it here, but I will tell you there is a 90-page interview with Orest Pena under oath that is done by the House Select Committee. This was just an interview report. This is not his actual HSCA testimony under oath. Okay? But it does exist, and it is about 90 pages long, and it is very interesting. Very interesting. And everybody should go read it.
Yeah. So this is the summary.
This is a summary. Like, for instance, they'll be talking, and he will admit to being an informant for the FBI, but he says he was working for 2 agencies, and they said, well, what was the other agency? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. And I say, was it the CIA? And he's like, I'm not saying anything about the Central Intelligence Agency, period.
What if it's what if it's INS?
I don't know. Like I said, they ask him they run into this problem with him a few times, and he blatantly tells them, look, I'm not going to speak on this. I'm not going to say anything about that. They bring up David Ferrie, and he's like, you understand what happened to David Ferrie? I'm not going to speak about that. So if you can come across it and find it anywhere, the HSCA testimony under oath of Orest Pena is very interesting. It's a very interesting read for sure. So definitely check that out, because I just don't have time to go through 90 pages of it tonight. Well, back to you, Joe. You got anything else over there?
Yeah, let me check. I have the HSCA, since we are on that topic here, final report on their determination of what happened to the letter, right, of Oswald's note. Approximately 2 or 3 weeks before the assassination, right, we're talking November 1st, Hosty visited Marina and Ruth. Ruth allegedly translated this conversation with Marina. So that lines up. Of President Kennedy, Oswald's alleged delivered a note addressed to Hosty at the FBI office in Dallas. The varying accounts of the note's contents suggest that it was threatening or complaining in tone, ordering Hosty to stop bothering Oswald's wife. Well, I think we've already determined that it was probably complaining and not threatening.
Right.
Obviously. Several hours after Oswald was murdered by Jack Ruby, Hosty, according to his own admission, destroyed the note after having been instructed to do so by J. Gordon Shanklin, this special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI office. Shanklin denied that he knew anything about the note until a reporter asked him about it in 1975. And again, this is HSCA final report, so we're talking, 1979? Between 63 and 75, the existence of the note and its destruction were kept secret by the Dallas FBI office. In his committee testimony, Hosty stated that the note, according to his memory, did not contain Oswald's name, and that he first determined that the note might have been from Oswald on the day of the assassination of President Kennedy. Hosty explained that soon after Oswald's arrest, he was instructed to sit in on the interrogation at the DPD, and that when he identified himself to Oswald, Oswald became upset and stated that Hosty had been bothering his wife, Marina. Hosty suggested that Special Agent in Charge Shanklin, who was told by another FBI agent about Oswald's reaction to Hosty, probably made the same connection between Oswald and the anonymous note. Hosty advised that he was surprised that Shanklin wanted him to destroy the note because the note's contents were not particularly significant. And that gets me back to kind of where we started. You are Oswald. You are maybe an FBI informant, maybe not. I don't know. And you have FBI people coming to talk to your wife. You're going to go to the office and say, hey, leave her the hell alone. You're not going to say, hey, I'm going to blow up the FBI office, because that's like immediate arrest, right? Hosty recalled that the note was complaining in tone, but that it contained no threats and did not suggest that Oswald was prone to violence. Hosty stated that he destroyed the note because Shanklin, his superior, ordered him to do so. When asked what motivation Oswald might have had for writing the note, Hosty suggested that Oswald might have wanted to prevent Hosty from contacting his wife because he was afraid that she would tell Hosty about Oswald's trip to Mexico. I'm not sure I agree with that, or his attempt to shoot General Edward Walker in the spring of 63. So that is interesting. The committee regarded the incident of the note as a serious impeachment of Shanklin's and Hosty's credibility. It noted, however, that the note, if it contained threats in response to FBI contacts with Oswald's wife, would have been evidence tending to negate an informant relationship. The committee noted further that speculative nature of its findings about the note incident, because the note had been destroyed, it was not possible to establish with confidence what its contents were. Of course, they're kind of taking the middle ground here. In summary, although there have been many allegations of an Oswald FBI informant relationship, there was no credible evidence that Oswald was ever an informant for the Bureau. So again, that's just kind of the HSCA taking.
Despite a former FBI agent, William Walters, saying there was, and a former FBI informant saying there was.
Right. And we watched and listened to all three of them speak. And who do you believe most?
Not Debrueys.
Not Debrueys.
Shanklin.
Not Shanklin. Pena and Walther were by far the most credible. And the secretary was obviously lying too. I mean, even her account doesn't even line up with Shanklin's version of events. So very weird things going on here. So was Hosty just doing his job, following the orders, doing his periodic checks on Oswald or Marina, right? Probably Marina more.
Yeah.
And was he the scapegoat, like you talked about during the book review?
They definitely threw Hosty under the bus after Oswald had killed. For sure. Because there were allegations that, the FBI should have known about Oswald. And they're like, we had an agent assigned to him. It's not our fault he didn't do his fucking job. And, this, that, and the other. Hence the reason they sent him to finish out his days and years in the Kansas City field office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. James makes a good point here. Even if Oswald was an informant in New Orleans, I think he means by the FBI, doesn't necessarily mean that Hosty would know about it. Yeah, that's true.
Very true.
Very true. Good point, James.
Could have been talking to Debrueys, and then, back in Dallas, he'd never met Hosty.
Right. And, of course, they bring in Debrueys, although I can't say it that way. I hate it. This is what Trey's comments. I'm still calling him Debrueys. I ain't hiding from nobody. I'm gonna call him Debrueys still. But that's just on par with me mispronunciating everything. But yeah, man, it's some weird shit, and I want to do one more video. It's only 3 minutes, and it is of Hosty. If I could find it. It's of Hosty talking about his book and the note. God damn it. Liked videos. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Almost. Let me share the screen and make sure I double share it, because that's what we have to do these days.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned in the book on page 96, I believe it is, that you felt frustrated in the early stages of the investigation.
Yes.
because you felt as if everything you were doing was being scrutinized and nitpicked.
Right.
Even though you had been acting by the book, I believe is how you put it. Maybe I'm missing something, but it doesn't seem quite by the book to tear up a note from the assassin and flush it down the toilet.
That's true. However, I was told to do that. I was following orders. That's true. But the people who were nitpicking me were the ones that ordered me to do it. So I don't feel that that they should have been second guessing me on that point.
Well, that's true. But didn't you wonder that maybe
the people that were nitpicking me were ordered me to do it?
Shanklin.
Or by extension, Jehovah, or the other Scafuzas under him.
Well, he
shouldn't do that.
And ordered him to do it.
Yes, but I mean, maybe Shanklin was ordered, was what I was trying to say.
That maybe they were ordering you to commit a crime, basically?
Well, as it turned out, it wasn't a crime. As I point out in the book there, it turns out that since Oswald was dead and there could be no trial, and since it had never been entered into the record, and of course, I wished I hadn't have done it. I'll tell you that right now, because all of this conjecture about all the false reasons as to why it was done, it was definitely not anything more than just a complaint about me interviewing his wife. But you'd have to understand J. Edgar Hoover. He had a hellacious temper. Now, I can explain this to anybody who's ever in the FBI, and they understand immediately. They say the old man would have blown up. And in order to keep him from blowing up, they just decided we just won't tell him. He was sort of like the emperor in the emperor's clothes. You know, they would not tell. They tell him what he wanted to hear and keep bad things from him. At the time the note was destroyed, Johnson was saying there was going to be no hearings. We're not going to. He was worried to death about World War III, so we're not going to have any hearings. Just report back to me, and in other words, the word was out there was going to be a cover-up. So I guess the FBI officials and the CIA and everybody else figured, well, we'll have our little secondary cover-ups. The primary cover-up was what happened in Mexico City, and then the CIA covered up the fact that they were dealing with one of Castro's cabinet officers to try to assassinate him. They covered that up, and I guess then the FBI covered up. I don't know what all the Secret Service and State Department covered up, but yeah, that's true. I shouldn't have done it. I admit it, and I wished I hadn't. But you've got to remember, we were all in a state of shock. I think I was in more shock over Oswald being killed by Ruby than I was by Kennedy being killed. I have an air that we had received information that,
like Mark Lane, where she's trying. The hell was that?
It just stopped.
I heard myself.
Yeah, it might have just like gone on to the next video. But interesting, you know, because we always talk about interagency conflict. We know Hosty was not happy with not given specific details on the Mexico City thing by the CIA. Of course, they wouldn't have done that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really. I mean, they could have told him because it kind of pertained to him. But again, at that time, Oswald was not on the security index. He had been taken off of it.
Right.
And what happened in Mexico City didn't happen on American soil, which is, of course, the FBI's territory and not the CIA's. The CIA, you know, is supposed to work outside of the boundaries of the United States, which includes Mexico City. Now, the FBI does have legal attaches in various overseas cities, you know, to do work. And they probably should have mentioned it had it occurred the way they say it occurred. But of course, there's problems with all this, Joe.
Yeah, and I just went back to the Oswald Hosty timeline I put up in the front in the beginning of the episode, and on 10/25/63 it says, this is a Mary Farrell Oswald in New Orleans timeline. Hosty receives communication on October 25th, 63, from New Orleans FBI advising him Oswald had visited Soviet embassy in Mexico City. So did he get it? Is he doing a little CYA? Is there a little bit of everything going on? CYA, internal beef with Shanklin.
And of course, this is almost a month later after Oswald supposedly went to Mexico City. But this is also the time of the Milton Koch report, which is the name I love to say, that came out that basically probably Hosty got sent from the New Orleans office. It was basically the New Orleans way of wrapping up their investigation into Oswald. And they passed it along to Dallas, and that's probably when Hosty got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so hard because it's like, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe Shanklin? Are you going to believe an FBI secretary? Are you going to believe Hosty? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They all have their own agendas. Who knows what type of internal beef went down between Shanklin and Hosty? And I can gauge that there's some of it going down. I don't know what it was, but it was something. And who to believe, I don't know. There's just a lot of fuckery going on here. And as always, we kind of leave it to our educated audience to figure it out and contemplate.
Well, I got one more thing for you to contemplate before we go, Joe.
Sounds good.
And this is an internal FBI document concerning how they're going to address different allegations skewed at them. Okay. This allegation is this. A theory has been presented that by the end of the Eisenhower administration, that the lower echelons of anti-Castro forces established training camps throughout the Southeast. The groups were trained by ex-Batista soldiers as well as CIA contract agents. Initially, the plan was to take over Cuba through the Bay of Pigs operation. However, they failed to receive air support, causing this attempt to fail. The group began to distrust the Kennedys, and the feeling spread to the camps. Another plan to attack Cuba was halted when the president requested the Pontchartrain camp to be raided and shut down. Thus, we have the allegation that the Kennedy administration made efforts in 1963 to dismantle CIA-funded anti-Castro training groups. On August 7th, the SSC staff interviewed Robert D. Morrow, who maintains, now, we've talked about Robert Morrow's book, Betrayal, on this show before, who was a former CIA officer. He maintains that he was under contract with the CIA from 61 to 63 and headed the counterfeiting operation for the agency's Cuban underground. Morrow was recruited by Mario Coley, who was employed by the CIA as a consultant. Coley was responsible for organizing the Cuban underground. According to Morrow, Coley tried to inform Attorney General Kennedy of missile installations as early as 1961. Coley also tried to inform that there would be no underground report for Cuban force invading the Bay of Pigs. Morrow also maintains Coley's information about the missiles since it would be a source of humiliation to the administration. Furthermore, after the missile crisis, the administration made efforts to dismantle Coley's operations. This alleged effort, initiated by the administration, may possibly be related to testimony delivered to the SSC during the Senate Select Committee during assassination hearings that by 1963, the CIA had lost control of the lower echelons of the anti-Castro forces. Morrow maintains that a CIA-funded training camp for anti-Castro forces on Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans was operated by, and you might say, Rob, get to the fucking point here. Well, I'm going to. Listen up. This anti-Castro forces CIA-funded training camp on Lake Pontchartrain, Louisiana, was operated by Frank Sturgis, Carlos Brignier, Clay Shaw, David Ferry, and Jack Ruby. Allegedly, Ruby was shipping narcotics from Lake Pontchartrain to Dallas. Morrow maintains some of the individuals involved in the Lake Pontchartrain operation were involved in a conspiracy to assassinate the president. Morrow maintained the Lake Pontchartrain camp was raided by the FBI, the Secret Service, and local law enforcement officials per the order of the president on what day? August 1st, 1963. Allegedly, ammunition was confiscated and 11 people were arrested. As a result of the anti-Castro Cubans sought to retaliate against the president, thus bringing about his ultimate demise. Morrow was arrested on counterfeiting charges in Baltimore, interestingly enough, since he was in charge of, what was it? He headed the counterfeiting operation for the agency's Cuban underground organization, but he's arrested on counterfeiting charges in Baltimore on October 1st, 1963.
He pissed someone off.
Morrow, in the process of procuring Coley's diary, had already acquired Coley's secret papers on the organization of the Cuban underground. Recommendations. Number 1, interview Morrow in greater detail about the Cuban underground operations. Number 2, procure Coley's papers, memoranda, and diary from Morrow. Determine if individuals alleged to be involved in a conspiracy were under contract with the agency. 3, examine materials at the Kennedy Library relating to Coley's meetings with the Attorney General. Number 4, examine materials at the Kennedy Library relating to the August 1st raid on Lake Pontchartrain. Number 5, examine FBI reports on surveillance of anti-Castro groups, also available at the Kennedy Library. So, very interesting. Very, very interesting. This is, of course, just coming from Morrow, who knows how true it is, but it's an interesting theory nonetheless. Because at some point, you have to be able to connect the players to the game, right? Now, there's always a little kernel of truth in the lies.
Always.
Now, we know that they were training anti-Castro forces at Lake Pontchartrain. I mean, that's pretty much established. And we know that Robert Kennedy was involved in shutting it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about the exact specific people he mentioned here, like Frank Sturgis and Clay Shaw and Jack Ruby being involved in the Pontchartrain training, but I can certainly believe that Carlos Brignier, that David Ferry were,
or Shaw was funding.
Right.
I could see that.
Right. And possibly even Oswald. If Ferry and Oswald were tight. By extension, Because who did Ernesto Rodriguez send Oswald to help with the cause in early August?
Carlos Brignier.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is still alive, I think.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe. But anyway, folks, that is the show.
Yeah. A couple comments before we go. Optoeconomist, I guess came in a little late, said, I thought Hosty got in trouble for telling DPD's Revel that he knew Oswald was capable of killing Kennedy. Yes, that's a whole other drama.
Yeah, we touched on that a little bit Wednesday, just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he claims that he never told Revel that. So it's a he said kind of thing. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone said, I think it was. I think it was Trey before, but he said you did a great Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite with your accent there.
That was my Orest Pena.
Yes. Well, thank you, and thank everyone for joining us on this Friday. I mean, I really don't know what to make of it. To be honest, like usual, we kind of throw our hands up, but
food for thought, folks.
Yeah, but my opinions on Hosty have changed a little, and maybe he wasn't, the worst person. You know what I mean? I don't know how to phrase it.
Look, he wasn't. He was just an FBI agent in the Dallas office. He wasn't any swinging dick. You know, he got. Oh shit!
Oh,
Snyder. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Much obliged. We appreciate.
Oh, that was James. Sorry, I don't want to miss the reference with the Napoleon Dynamite reference. Thank you, James. And thank you, Paula. Yeah, we always have a great time hanging out with you guys on Friday night. We love you, and we love our members, and we love everyone that is
super chats and the memberships. 10 of them tonight. That's awesome.
Wow, thank you, James. That's a nice comment.
Since we got so many new members, Joe, you know what we should do? I'm feeling in the Christmas season mood.
Ooh, give it to me.
So how about we do this? Next Wednesday and the Wednesday after that, we make that show available for all members.
Spooks included.
Spooks included.
Including the 10 new spooks.
Yeah.
That we got, that the Double B gifted tonight.
Normally we just do the show for covert operators and above, except for the last Wednesday of every month. We're going to do it for the last 2 Wednesdays of December as a Christmas present back to you guys for enjoying the show. And hopefully, the new members who got a little taste of membership this evening can see what we do here on Wednesday night. We don't phone it in. We do real shit. And we can get all kinds of stuff we can't do here.
Yeah. Things we can't say on the interwebs or don't want to be clipped saying. But yeah, definitely. That's a great idea. And I just realized the last Wednesday of the month is New Year's Eve. So we'll have to figure that one out. But
what do we have? There's 3 more Wednesdays in the month?
Yeah, there's the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. But
yes,
at least the next 2 are.
Yeah, we'll do the next 2. Yeah, because not many people will be watching New Year's Eve, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Well, we might not even be live. Who knows? I want
to. Maybe we'll take that Wednesday off.
It's just another day for me.
Yeah, I will get shit if I.
Joe may have plans, so we might have to pre-record.
I don't have plans, but I'll get yelled at if I say, "Hey, I have to do this show on New Year's Eve."
We'll beat you
100%. I'll get beaten down worse than James Hosty did by Shanklin and JFK.
All right, folks, that's the show. We thank everybody for hanging with us tonight. Dino, get your fat ass in here, sir.
Yeah, let me.
He dare
Physically...
not talk for the record, but he said, "Come to Bourbon Street and I'll show
Get
you."
the damn dog, Joe.
The greatest lies are told in the name of truth. The greatest crimes are committed in the name
Ruby.
of justice. The quotation is Jim Garrison's. It could
Ruby.
be used for him or against him in this strange
I know you hear me.
case. Good night.
Now I do.
Hit us on the book review coming soon. And again next Wednesday. Until then, folks, we are out. Peace.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.